I'm Josh Fenton, CEO and co-founder. Thanks so much for joining us on this soon-to-be warm and potentially sunny day here in Providence. If you haven't seen the story this morning, the lead story is about what the housing market is looking for and the potential for a bubble. The Federal Reserve Dallas branch had major insights. It's worth taking a look for. No matter what your housing situation is, it's a good insight into where we might be going. But I want to go down to the Haitian Project. Reese Grondin, who is the president of it and runs one of the most impressive schools maybe on the globe, joins us today. Reese, thanks so much.
Thank you, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so listen, we've known about the Haitian Project, and we had your predecessor on any number of times, and you've joined us before. Give folks who don't have the awareness of it a little overview of what this 30-year effort that disseminated out of a church up on Hope Street in Providence is all about.
Yeah, so the Haitian Project is a nonprofit. We're based right here in Rhode Island, as you mentioned, with a 30-year history right here in the state. And what we do is we support and oversee a free Catholic boarding school in Haiti. It's a secondary school for children whose families can't afford to send them to school in Haiti. And that's what we do. We have our offices here in Rhode Island. We've been based here ever since the beginning, and we're just really happy to be back on GoLocal Prov with you today.
So Reese, listen, we all, painfully hear messages coming out of Haiti about the poverty, about economic calamities, some tied to, hurricanes and earthquakes. The most recent newsworthy that disseminated out was a series of kidnappings, very high-profile kidnappings of American missionaries. Sure. What is the day-to-day life for you, your faculty, your students, their families? What is life like in Haiti?
Yeah, I think on the one hand, it's been very difficult across the board. We're not actually able to be there in person right now. We don't want to bring any added risk to our community in Haiti. But for them, for our Haitian colleagues and our students and their families, it is very difficult. Haiti is, the security situation is really worsened considerably since the assassination of the president last summer. And the gang activity is really being problematic for everyone across the board. Displaced tens of thousands of people, increased very severe food security for, I think the World Food Program said over half the population, or just under half, is living right now in severe food insecurity. And so that's being impacted by the war in Ukraine and the global insecurity for food prices, but that's exacerbated in Haiti because they are very highly dependent on imports. And in terms of kidnapping, it's a risk for everyone in Haiti right now, not just the high-profile ones we hear about in our media, but for any general Haitian walking down the street in Haiti is a risk for them as well. So, I think for us, our primary concern is really the rule of law in Haiti. And I think the protests that are being held this week there by thousands of Haitians who are specifically protesting the insecurity really back that up. I think security really has to be the priority for Haitians to get their lives, their livelihoods, their economy back, and to get to the point where free and fair elections can truly be possible in the country.
So Reese, if you didn't have a challenge before, you've doubled down. So let's talk about the next iteration, the future of the Haitian Project.
Sure.
You not only have this wonderful school that you've been running for 30 years and graduated folks to really try and bolster the middle class in Haiti. 90-something% of your graduates go on to college and stay in Haiti. Yeah. They're not immigrating to other countries for fame and fortune. Right. And now you're expanding the project. So not only is there overwhelming poverty, a threat of being kidnapped, you're expanding. So walk us through that one. Yeah.
So we are fortunate to be working in a mission of education, which is a long-term mission. It's a long-term goal, and it's something that Haitians have identified themselves to us and more broadly that is something they want. So we are working in solidarity and collaboration with our colleagues in Haiti in a very important mission for the long-term future of the country, led by Haitians themselves. So we decided, we have 800 alumni now from our flagship school just outside Port-au-Prince. As you said, a wonderful start to helping build a true middle class in Haiti. And we decided we needed to expand access across the country to the more rural areas. And so what we have done is last year we broke ground on our second school in a 10 school across the nation network we're calling the Louverture Cleary Schools Network. And it will be, again, 10 schools, one in each diocese of the country, to really get that access to education out into the more rural areas. So that we'll have not just 360 students every year at our flagship school, but 360 students at each of those 10 schools. So eventually we'll be graduating 500 students a year to really exponentially increase the number of alumni who are successfully changing their country in Haiti.
And talk about what the challenges to this, what the financial needs are for this. I know you're just started building the second school.
Yes.
What's that level of investment? When do you see it done? When do you start the third? And what's the overall price tag?
Yeah, so it is. It's a huge investment. For our Model Campus campaign, which covers the building of the second school and starting the site development for the third and fourth schools, it's about an $8.6 million campaign. So as you say, funding is very, very important for this. It's a significant investment. Overall, the whole network eventually should cost somewhere between 80 and $100 million. If we're talking today's dollars, 80, but it's a 20-year plan. So it's a huge investment, and we need support. We need people who believe in education, who believe in its transformative nature, who want to work in this mission with Haitians to change their country in a collaborative way that is meaningful and will bring true change to the country.
Reese, talk a little bit about what the role of alumni are. I mean, it is a remarkable success story. You have this network, they're doctors, they're lawyers. What's their involvement both with the existing school and the expansion?
So that's a great question. They're really key to the development of this in Haiti. Our alumni are highly involved with the current school, both as employees, in both the school and the advancement office, at many different levels. And they also come back and volunteer at the school. So they're integrally involved. They also provide financial support whenever they're able. And looking forward into the network, they are highly motivated and highly excited for the opportunity that the network presents for Haiti and for their own more broad involvement. I mean, if we're building 10 schools, we need 100 people working at each of the schools. So it's a huge opportunity for our alumni to remain engaged and really participate in building and expanding more on the mission that they've experienced, that they are the success story of, and that they truly believe will be transformative for their country. So far, it's just been an amazing input from the alumni. They're very excited.
So this next round, this is the perfect segue, this next round of financing, you need to raise about $8 million. I don't know what you have in the kitty to date, but let's talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow is 401 Gives. It is the day of giving. It is a unique Rhode Island, organic, started, Courtney Nicolato from United Way calls me up right in the middle of the first phase of the pandemic.
That's
and she's
right,
like,
yeah, it was.
yeah, let's raise some money. I'm like, what? Right? And, it was very grassroots. It's getting bigger and bigger. There's a goal of $4 million. I'm sure you want most of that $4 million, but I'm sure you'll also, you'll spread it around. Talk about how people can participate, how they can give tomorrow, and what the potential impact is on advancing this initiative.
Yeah, and then, as you said, this is an amazing initiative by United Way of Rhode Island, third year. It really is to support Rhode Island nonprofits, and it has grown, as you said, by leaps and bounds in the 3 years that it has been in existence. This is our third year participating. Tomorrow, it's 401gives.com. It starts at 6 a.m. So for those of us who are morning people and want to really get in and participate early, there's all kinds of matches that are available at certain times of the day, different grants. all different ways for nonprofits to promote what they're doing and get people involved right here in our state. And it's really is so successful. Each nonprofit, you can go on and see their page on 401gives.com and see what they're trying to do through the event tomorrow. And for us, we obviously have targeted funds amounts we want to raise, but we also want to bring in more donors. So I'm sure our fellow nonprofits here in Rhode Island have similar goals. And we just really encourage everyone to get up bright and early and give to your favorite nonprofit. They'll be on there and take a look. It's a wonderful event.
And by the way, you can give at 6 a.m. You can also give again to the Haitian Project again at noon. And if you're feeling like, I could do a little more, you can go back in at 6 o'clock at night and throw down another $100 or $200, right?
You can, and you can do it at any time during the day, but they do have those special matches at the times that you just mentioned, the 6 a.m., the 12 p.m. So we are certainly encouraging our givers to participate at those times if they're able.
And then, you've been involved for a number of years. This has been an ongoing project, really, disseminating out of Rhode Island, but this is a global initiative. Yeah. We talk about it a little bit about the poverty in Haiti. Also, Haiti's in, it's in our region. It's connected to the United States. There's so many Haitians who live in Rhode Island. The poverty in Haiti is just dumbfounding that anyone could absolutely even subsist on what the average household income is. I mean, it's mind-numbing how poor the vast majority of the population is in that country.
Yes, and that's true. And I know that probably Haitian individuals wish that isn't something that needed to be dwelled on, but it is something that people need to be aware of. As you say, Haiti is close to us. It's 2 hours from Miami by plane. Our histories are intertwined. It's very integral to our region in a very just important nation in and of its own right, and we have an obligation to it through our entwined histories and our occupation of the same hemisphere. And you do bring up a good point. The level of poverty in Haiti is quite shocking, but I think what we like to talk about is how education can change that. For us, a Louverture Cleary education, our graduates go to college and they come out earning 12 times the per capita income of Haiti. They're supporting their families. They're raising their own children, sending their own children to school. So it really breaks that cycle and allows for Haitian individuals, for the country itself to move forward and make real progress in that vein.
Reese, congratulations on all you're doing. Congratulations on this initiative to expand the education model across Haiti. We'll be wildly interested to watch it as it develops and keep an eye on it and maybe report on it from when you're back in country and in the fold. But just that last push, how do people support education in Haiti? How do they support the Haitian Project?
Thanks, Josh. It's been wonderful to be on again, and we appreciate your attention. And we will be keeping you apprised. To support us directly, HaitianProject.org/donate. And again, just 401 Gives is an amazing opportunity to give with all these extra bonus opportunities. You can find us there and all your other area Rhode Island nonprofits as well.
Great. Reese Grondin from the Haitian Project, thanks as always for joining us. For everybody else, stay tuned. Much going on today in Rhode Island. The mayor, I think right now, is having a press conference. Kate Nagel's on that, talking about violence and the ATVs and how the city is going to try and combat that this year. We'll have much more updates throughout the day and into the evening. And again, tomorrow's the best day. It is that day that makes you feel good to be able to donate to a crisscross of Rhode Island local and all the way down to Haiti nonprofits that do such great work and make our community so much better. 401 Gives. So stay tuned for much more. Stay safe. By the way, if you didn't see the New York Times today, take a look at it. You want to get that booster shot before the new variant comes sweeping across Rhode Island. Get a booster. It's easy, it's free, and it'll make you feel a lot better. Thanks, everybody.